Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Manchester United are set to sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer today. Darren Fletcher will take over as the interim manager following the departure of Solskjaer. Watford was Solskjaer's final game in charge of Manchester United. Yesterday, Solskjaer said his goodbyes to the players and staff following the defeat to Watford. Manchester United will pay Solskjaer around £7.5 million because in the summer he signed a new 3-year contract with an option of a further year. Despite Solskjaer being sacked, we all adore him, reflecting on what he's done for the club. Solskjaer was a great player for Manchester United. He endured 11 years as a player. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. Solskjaer will always be a legend of Manchester United. Solskjaer was in charge of Man United for almost 3 years, and this season was his third full season at the club. Solskjaer did not win a trophy as Manchester United manager, and I said he wasn't capable of winning trophies as manager. Manchester United have not won a trophy since 2017. The expectations were far too high for Solskjaer to exceed as Man United manager, and he was in a position that he shouldn't have been in. Reflecting on the defeat to Watford, that's 4 defeats out of 5 in the Premier League. Reflecting on our poor performances though, Solskjaer was partly to blame because obviously his tactics and his team selections were questioned a lot, but not all of the blame stemmed from him. There's also players that have to take responsibility for those poor...
Charlie,
What?
you know how many have gone for the job now? I've just had a look.
Go on.
180.
Alright.
Maybe 200 that by Saturday.
For those poor performances. But Solskjaer doesn't have a proven pedigree as a manager. You know, before Manchester United, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. He endured 2 spells with them. And before, he managed Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. The reason he got sacked from Cardiff is because he got Cardiff relegated. And he did manage a Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he did watch some of this team grow and develop. But Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Manchester United it was going to be a massive job. Not only a massive job, a difficult job as well, because Ole was managing one of the biggest clubs in the world. Man United did appoint Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Mourinho. In Solskjaer's first 3 months, he was the interim manager. He did very well as the interim manager, so reflecting on that, the club decided to give him the job on a permanent basis back in March 2019. And Solskjaer ran out of excuses a while ago, because Manchester United have got a very good squad. But like I said, the reason we're not getting the best out of a lot of the players is because they're a team of individuals. You know, they don't actually play as a team. And obviously the players weren't playing for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Man United should be winning the league this season, or at least challenging for the league, because we have got a title winning squad. You know, Man United have not won the Premier League since 2013. You know, Man United enjoyed a very good summer transfer window this year. You know, spent around £141 million, made 4 signings. 3 of the 4 signings were major signings, and the board backed Solskjaer well in this year's summer transfer window. You know, the Glazers backed him, Ed Woodward backed him, John Murtaugh, our director of football, backed him, and Darren Fletcher also backed him. So there you go. And Solskjaer enjoyed like 5 transfer windows, didn't he? As permanent Man United manager. Man United spent over £400 million under the Solskjaer era. Solskjaer did sign 14 players. In the summer of 2019, he recommended Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire in. In January 2020, he brought Bruno Fernandes in and Odin Igalo in on loan. In the summer of 2020, he brought Edison Cavani in, Donny van der Beek, Alex Telles, Amad Diallo and Facundo Pellistri. And in this year's summer transfer window, he brought Heaton in, Sancho, Varane and re-signed Ronaldo after 12 years. Ole also got rid of a lot of players at Man United. You know, he loaned players out, he got rid of players permanently. The players he loaned out in this year's summer transfer window, he loaned Brandon Williams out, Ethan Laird, Andres Pereira, Axel Tuanzebe, Tahith Chon and Facundo Pellistri. The players he's got rid of permanently, he obviously offloaded Daniel James in this year's summer transfer window. He was the only player Man United sold in this year's summer transfer window, so that was disappointing from a Man United perspective. Ole's also offloaded players like Igalo, Fossa-Mensah, Rojo. He also offloaded James Wilson and Borthwick Jackson. He released Sergio Romero and Joe Pereira. He also offloaded Ashley Young, Valencia, Smalling, Damian Fellaini. He left back in January 2019. He offloaded Angel Gomez, Herrera, Lukaku and Sanchez. So there you go. And in Solskjaer's first full season as Man United manager, he got us to 3 semi-finals and he got us a 3rd place finish. In his second full season, he got us to the EFL Cup semi-final, the FA Cup quarter-final, and he got us to the Europa League final. That was his first major final as Man United manager, but unfortunately we didn't win it. And last season, Solskjaer got us a 2nd place finish. When Solskjaer is officially sacked, he'll be the 4th permanent manager to be sacked since Ferguson, because Man United have already sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. We sacked David Moyes after 10 months. We finished 7th under the Moyes era. That's the lowest we finished in the Premier League era. Moyes is probably one of the worst managers we've ever had. We sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years, despite him winning the FA Cup, and we sacked Mourinho after like 2.5 years. Mourinho did enjoy 1 good season at Man United because he did win 3 trophies in his first season. Manchester United have only won 4 trophies since Ferguson retired. You know, Manchester United have not been the same team since Fergie retired. And a lot of United fans predicted it was all going to go wrong when Ferguson retired, which obviously it has done. You know, Ferguson brought success to Manchester United. You know, he won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles, but he didn't settle in straight away, Ferguson, because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. And Ferguson enjoyed a 27-year tenure as Manchester United manager, so he was a very long-serving manager. No one will replicate what Ferguson did at the club. Now, Manchester United need to try and get a full-time manager. Now, Zinedine Zidane and Brendan Rodgers are being spoken about. Well, reports said last week that Zinedine Zidane turned down the Manchester United job, as he's pretty much agreed to take over the France job. And it said Zidane is not available until the summer. The Manchester United board held talks with Zidane, and Zidane notified the board saying that he's not ready for the Premier League at the moment and he prefers to take a break until the summer. But it did say the other week that Zidane was interested in the Man United job, but apparently Zidane's wife was not attracted to the idea of living in Manchester. Well, Man United hope that Zidane's close relationships with Ronaldo and Varane can persuade him to join. Zidane is managerless because he left Real Madrid in the summer. And you've got to admire what he did at Real Madrid. You know, he won a lot of trophies at Real Madrid, so reflecting on that, he's got a good pedigree behind him. I reckon Zidane would be the man for Man United. You know, if Zidane gets appointed in, I think he'll get the best out of these group of players. He'll get us back to that level where we should be at, and he'll suit the strappings of the club, and he would be capable of winning trophies. Zidane's not managed in the Premier League yet, so it would be good for him to come and experience the Premier League. Brendan Rodgers, he said prior to the Watford game that he distances himself from the Man United job. You know, Rodgers said reports linking him with the job at Man United are not true, and he's proud to be at Leicester. But there again, it said that Rodgers is ready to say yes to Man United if he's offered the job. Not so long ago, Brendan Rodgers was house hunting in Cheshire. And the Manchester Evening News said the other week that Man United are ready to trigger Brendan Rodgers' contract clause when Solskjaer gets sacked. And earlier on this season, it said that Rodgers had already verbally agreed to become Man United's new manager, but his preference would be to wait until next season, as he's reluctant to leave Leicester midway through the season. Would Brendan Rodgers be the right manager for Man United though? That is the question. Certainly my preference would be Zidane over Rodgers, but you've got to admire what Rodgers has done at Leicester. You know, so far at Leicester he's won the Community Shield in the FA Cup, and he's been Leicester manager for almost 3 years. He's got a contract with Leicester until 2025. There again, Leicester have been very poor this season, so is Brendan Rodgers under some pressure now at Leicester? Pochettino's been spoken about, and so too has Erik ten Hag. But you know, there is very, very good players at Manchester United. You know, look who we've got in the team. You know, you've got Marcus Rashford. He's a good player. He's done well in quite a few games since he's come back, but he's had a few poor games as well since he's come back. Rashford was out with a shoulder injury for a while, and at one point he had to have an operation on his shoulder. Most of the time now, Rashford plays on that left wing. Well, we need to keep him there because that's where he's mostly effective. He's far superior on the left wing to the right wing and up top. Rashford's been part of the club for a long time. He's been a United player since the age of 7, and he's been in our senior squad since 2016. He's got a contract with Man United until 2023. And you've got Edison Cavani. That's another good player. Cavani's out with injury until December. He was out with injury earlier on this season. Cavani has got under a year left on his Man United contract. Back in May, Cavani signed that 1-year contract extension. This season is Cavani's second full season at Man United. We got Cavani on a free transfer from PSG. Cavani's got a good pedigree behind him though. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at PSG. Not only that, he was a long-serving player when he was at PSG. You've got Bruno Fernandes. That's also an exceptional player. He's one of the best signings we've made since Ferguson retired. Fernandes though was poor in the 4-1 defeat to Watford yesterday. His horrendous pass led to the penalty. I think he did have a chance, didn't he, in the game as well. And he was very poor in the 2-0 defeat to Man City before the international break. So Fernandes has had quite a few games where he's looked off the pace, but he has been consistent in a lot of games for Man United as well. He starts the vast majority of Manchester United's games. Fernandes has been a Manchester United player for almost 2 years now. Got him from Sporting Lisbon back in January 2020. Last season, didn't he get named Player of the Month a few times? And didn't he also get named Player of the Year, reflecting on his good performances? Earlier on this season, Fernandes did make it clear that he wants to stay at Man United. When he first came in, Fernandes, he said, "I've come to Manchester to win trophies." Fernandes has got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further 12 months. And you've also got Mason Greenwood. He's a talented player. Greenwood's still young, he's got a lot of development in him, and I can assure he's got a long-term future at Man United. Greenwood scored, 4 goals in the league so far this season. Greenwood didn't play against Watford yesterday because he is out with COVID. At one point, Greenwood did go a while without scoring, but despite that, he's been an absolute revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time, and last season, Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. You've got the best player in the world overall in Cristiano Ronaldo. Obviously, Ronaldo played in the 4-1 defeat to Watford yesterday. Ronaldo did get the assist for Donny van de Beek's goal. Ronaldo now has 2 assists since he re-signed. Ronaldo scored 9 goals in all competitions so far since he re-signed. In the 2-0 defeat to Man City, Ronaldo was anonymous because he got very little service, but he did have 2 good chances in that game. But Manchester United have relied on Ronaldo far too much. Not so long ago, Ronaldo got named Player of the Month for October. He also got named Premier League Player of the Month for September, so obviously he's got back-to-back awards. Ronaldo has won 32 major trophies in his playing career, including 5 Ballon d'Ors. He has got a contract with Man United till 2023. There's an option of a further year. Ronaldo's the highest earner at Man United. He receives £480,000 a week. He wears the number 7 shirt, and we got Ronaldo for 19.8 million with add-ons included. And you've got Jadon Sancho. That's a good player overall, but he has been poor for Manchester United. Sancho played yesterday against Watford, and surprisingly, Solskjaer put Sancho in the correct position. He was on the right wing. He didn't do too bad yesterday, but still not good enough. But you know, Ollie was to blame for Sancho's poor performances, because a lot of the time Solskjaer played him out of position. But on the other side of things, there's quite a few games that Sancho hasn't even played in. And there's a lot of games that he doesn't even start. And I said Sancho will do well at Man United, providing that he's used correctly. It does take some players time though to settle in. You know, Sancho endured 4 good years with Borussia Dortmund. And I was hoping at Man United he could replicate what he did in his 4 years with Dortmund. We got Sancho for 78 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United until June 2026 as an option of a further year. And you've also got Donny van der Beek. That's a good player as well. But I haven't had much of a perception on Donny van der Beek at Man United because he hasn't been given enough game time. Van der Beek came on yesterday against Watford and made an impact. You know, he came off the bench and he was trying to make things happen. He also scored as well. That was his second goal for the club. Van der Beek has endured a difficult year and a half or so at Man United. You know, this season is his second full season at the club. Man United got Donny van der Beek for 40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. You've got Paul Pogba, another good player Man United have got. Pogba's not only a good player, he's an imperative player as well. Pogba, to his credit, did enjoy a good start to the Premier League season. You know, Paul Pogba's got 7 assists so far. He produced good performances for Man United in the last couple of months of last season. Paul Pogba may never play for the club again, by the way, because Pogba is missing the rest of 2021 with injury. Pogba suffered a thigh injury in France training the other week. And not so long ago it said Man United are prepared to sell Paul Pogba in the January transfer window. Well, it makes sense to cash in for him in January rather than let him go on a free next summer. Reports from France did say though the other week that Pogba wanted to renew his contract with Man United, reportedly on one condition, that he's made the Premier League's highest paid player, so he wants to overtake Ronaldo as the highest paid player. He's one of the highest paid players as it stands at the moment. Pogba receives 290 grand a week. Pogba's current contract at Man United expires next summer. Before the start of this season, he rejected a new Man United contract offer. Pogba's had a long running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with Real Madrid. His former club Juventus have been in for him. He did enjoy 4 good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. You know, PSG have been in for him, Barcelona have been in for him, and Inter Milan have been in for him before. Pogba's agent Mino Raiola has been working hard though for a while to get his client to move away from the club. Pogba's our most expensive signing at the moment because we paid 89 million for him. This season is Pogba's 6th season at Man United since he rejoined, and he's won 3 trophies at the club so far. You've got Eric Bailly, that's a very good centre-half as well, but Bailly doesn't get regular game time. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with the signing of Varane in the summer transfer window, and Lindelof is preferred to Bailly. Don't ask me why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. Bailly's made 3 appearances so far this season. My element of concern about Bailly is injury prone, so in that aspect he's a liability. Towards the end of last season, Bailly signed a new contract to Man United till 2024. There's an option of a further year. Bailly's been at Manchester United for 5.5 years. We got him from Villarreal back in 2016 for 30 million. You know, you've got Varane, that's also another good centre-half. Varane has done well in quite a few games since he signed for the club, but he's had a couple of games where he's looked off the pace. Varane is out with a hamstring injury at the moment. It's the second injury he has endured since he come to Man United. Varane is out for another 2 to 3 weeks. Not so long ago, Varane had a groin injury, and he was out with that groin injury for a few weeks. Man United got Varane in a deal worth 41 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Varane to Man United was official just before kick-off against Leeds, which was the opening day, but he is regarded as one of the best centre-halves in the world. He's highly experienced and he's got a good pedigree behind him. Look at the amount of silverware he won when he was at Real Madrid. And Wan-Bissaka, you know, he's a good right back as well. The defensive side of his game is superb, but the attacking side of his game is not good. And there is aspects of his game that I've got to improve. He's got to get forward more. His position has to improve as well, and I think his crossing has to improve. This season is Bissaka's 3rd full season at Man United. We got Bissaka for 50 million from Crystal Palace back in the summer of 2019. And you know, you've got De Gea. That's a very, very good goalkeeper. You've got to give De Gea credit because he's done really, really well so far this season. De Gea, you know, did well against Watford yesterday despite us losing 4-1. You know, De Gea saved 2 penalties. He also made some other good saves in the game. I thought De Gea did well in the 2-0 defeat to Man City. I recall De Gea making, 4 fantastic saves in the first half of that game. Yes, he was partly to blame for Bernardo Silva's goal. And Luke Shaw's a good left back overall, but he certainly hasn't proven how good he can be so far this season. Luke Shaw's been terrible this season. Where's the Luke Shaw from last season? Because last season Shaw was superb. And Maguire, yeah, he's good when he wants to be, but he hasn't really proven how good he can be at Manchester United. Maguire has been very, very poor this season. Obviously got sent off in the 4-1 defeat to Watford yesterday. So obviously he's going to be missing the game against Chelsea next weekend. Maguire's actually been even worse since he come back from that calf injury. So there you go. There's good players at Manchester United. These quite a few players that don't even get in the team though, like I've already mentioned. Bai doesn't really get in the team. Dalot doesn't get in the team. Dalot is our backup right back to Wan-Bissaka, and Dalot will only play when Bissaka's not available. Dean Henderson doesn't get in goal now because obviously De Gea reclaimed that number one spot back. Henderson's only been in goal for one game so far this season. That was West Ham in the Cup. At one point though, Henderson was out with COVID for a while. Henderson does want a loan move away from Man United. Telles, he doesn't get in the team. Telles will only play when Luke Shaw's not available. Telles was out with injury earlier on this season. Jones, he's another one that doesn't get in the team. Donny van der Beek, he doesn't really get in the team either. Mata, he doesn't get in the team. Martial, he doesn't get in the team. And that Amad Diallo doesn't get in the team really. He has made a few first team appearances, and I did say at that point that he looked a good asset for the first team squad. I thought he'd played a lot more, Amad Diallo, because we got him in a deal worth 37 million from Atlanta. Man United paid like 19 million pounds up front. So there you go. So yeah, when Solskjaer is officially sacked, I will be back on here. So anyway guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.